Listen, I can see one Swiss fan holding up a sign above his head in the stadium that says, "Fondue better than goulash." Well, that has yet to be seen, has yet to be decided. The players, the officials, the mascots are in the tunnel, in the sort of walkway, ready to make their way out to the pitch where the large flags are still fluttering, and the UEFA Europa 2024 symbol is still in the middle of the pitch, but the players look ready for action. Why don't I hand you over then to your commentary team? That's Scott Minto, you've just been hearing from, and the next voice you will hear for Hungary against Switzerland, Adam Bridge.
Thank you very much, Danny. Good afternoon, everyone. 43,000 are packed into the Cologne Stadium. It's a side who, for club football, have been in the second tier, but it's still one of the toughest tickets to get in Germany. Such is the vehement support, and vehement support is the word you would use to describe those supporting Hungary and Switzerland today. As I say, just over 40,000 of them as the two teams emerge from the tunnel. The second match of Euro 2024. Game 2 of 51 is about to get underway, and two of what have been described as the dark horses in this year's competition. A Hungarian side ranked 26th in the world, a fifth appearance at the Euros, and a third consecutive one, something that's unfamiliar to Hungarian football fans, whereas Switzerland, they're ranked 7 places higher, 19th according to FIFA. It's their 6th Euros, and they have in the last two competitions managed to reach the knockout stages but go no further. They are draw specialists, they often rely on penalties, but of course we're in the group stages, so we expect a tight encounter between these two sides. No quarter asked, none given, and neither will want to be on the end of the kind of defeat that Scotland suffered last night. We'll start though with, as ever, the two national anthems. The Swiss national anthem, accepted formally in 1981. Be careful with this Hungarian one, it's actually 8 verses long in full. Here comes God Bless the Hungarians. The abridged version. I would have quite happily taken all 8 verses. What a sound coming from the Hungarian supporters within the stadium. I was fortunate enough to commentate on their 3 games in Euro 2020, and boy do they make some noise and get behind their side. As we were mentioning with Danny a few moments ago, once the kings of football many years ago, they did fall in the rankings, but They are resurgent as things stand. They were unbeaten in qualifying. They topped Group G ahead of Serbia, and they come into this tournament as one of the sides that people have an eye on under coach Marco Rossi, who we witnessed singing the Italian, of course, citizenship last year and happily belting out that Hungarian national anthem. This Switzerland side as well, they only came second in Group I behind Romania. Their only defeat was in that group game to Romania, who finished top of the table. But some discontent has been put behind them as they look to enter this competition. Both of these sides in pretty good form, it has to be said. Hungary won 3 of their 4 matches in 2024, while the Swiss find themselves unbeaten in that period too, with 3 clean sheets. Scott Minto's alongside me. Well, we say it might be a tight affair. Last 2 games between these two sides have produced 12 goals. I think we'd happily take that kind of contribution today.
Let's hope that continues, Adam, but I'm not sure it will today. I mean, it is fascinating, the mentality of your very first game, where of course you want to win, but you dare not lose. And you really put yourself under pressure if you do that. And as I say, I think these are the two sides, with respect to Scotland, that would always be fighting for second spot. I think the fact that you've got that third spot is still possible. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed it, but it's possible for qualifying for the knockout stages. 1, helps Scotland out, but 2, means that if they don't actually win this game, then they still can nick it. Now, if whoever loses this game has got to play Germany at some point in the next couple of games. So I just think it's one of those where it's almost as if they'd take a draw, or I'm fascinated to see which of these two teams wouldn't take the draw, still want to try and dominate and win this game and put themselves in the box seat, because there's no doubt about it, whoever wins this game is very much in the box seat, maybe not just for second but for top itself.
Well, Hungary's record in the opening match in their previous Euros is not the best. 3 of 4 they've lost. Their only victory came in 2016, where they beat Austria by 2-0. And Switzerland themselves, where they've lost 1 of their last 10 games in Euro competition, but 6 of those last 8 have ended in draws. Of course, there were a couple of penalty shootouts last time round, when they beat France in that round of 16 before losing to Spain in the quarter-finals. They've all made their way on tram number 1 to the Cologne Stadium. I suspect there's been a few visits to the Kölner Dome, the most visited landmark, of course, at 157 metres, the tallest twin-spired church in the world, and we are off and running. And football now takes centre stage in this wonderful German city. It's Euro Game Day Live on Talksport, the second of 51 games at Euro 2024. All of them you'll hear live across the Talksport network as we bring you the passion, the energy, the culture, and most importantly, the big goals and moments across this tournament in Germany. And it's going to be Switzerland, who are all in red, who are kicking from right to left in the opening 45 minutes. And it's all a bit scrappy right now on halfway in front of our referee, Slavko Vincic, the Slovenian. It's an all-Slovenian setup in terms of the assistants, and also Neceš Kačević, who is our VAR official. We had plenty of VAR intervention last night as well, of course. And it's going to be a free kick initially here for Hungary, a couple of yards inside the Swiss half. And no surprise that the captain, the youngest captain ever to take charge of a side at the Euros, Dominik Szoboszlai, will line up this free kick just inside the Swiss half, and immediately 4 or 5 white shirts have been committed forward for the Hungarians. And it's Szoboszlai who'll swing that towards the far edge of the penalty area, nodded down and into the danger zone, where a final touch from Attila Szalai went safely and calmly into the arms of Jan Sommer away to our right hand side. Similar systems today, Scott. Where's this game going to be won?
Well, I think it's sometimes when you've got similar systems, it's about those individual battles and who's going to win that. As I say, I do think Switzerland have a very, very strong back three and goalkeeper as well. It's going to be very difficult to break down. They also struggle really to score goals.
The last time they played in a major tournament in Germany, they were very effective. They didn't actually concede a goal in the World Cup in 2006. Here's a chance, though, inside the penalty area, and the offside flag was up anyway. And it was a moment that almost opened up for Abashir inside the area. Some really scruffy defending from Hungary down this left-hand side. The opportunity coming for the man making his first competitive start, Quadru. He laid the ball back with the offside flag up in plenty of time.
Yeah, only just, and by a bit of luck as well. It was really good play from Deere, you have to say. It just edged in front of his defender and then played the ball inside. A little Ball inside the box then, and he was only just offside. As I say, that was rather by luck than design. Good defending in the end anyway. It's not as if it went in the back of the net. Everyone's looking and hoping for that flag to come up, but it's been a positive start, I have to say, from Switzerland.
Only the second time that Hungary have played a game in the fine city of Cologne. The last of those was back in 1941. They lost in a friendly by 7-0, so not happy memories for them. Quite the opposite, actually, for the Swiss, who've drawn all 3 previous matches in the city. One against West Germany way back in 1938, against Ukraine in the World Cup in 2016, and against Germany again in 2020, where they drew here 3-3. More of that today would be well received. Here's Rodriguez out wide on this left-hand side. 116th cap for him today as part of this back 3 now being employed by Switzerland. One of the key decisions since the arrival of their new assistant coach, as that ball's played in from this right-hand side by Fiola towards the edge of the penalty area. Fairly acrobatic fall over by Barnabas Varga about 10 yards outside the box after that challenge from Akanji, and it's out for a throw down this left-hand side for the Swiss.
Yeah, as I say, I think Switzerland have a very good defence with Rodriguez and Mando Akanji and Fabian Schär, Jan Sommer in goal. You know, there's no doubt about it, though, going forward, they need to try and win the game. Granit Xhaka is their star player. What a season he's had for Leverkusen. But if these front 2 can trouble the Hungary defence, which they're looking very lively at the moment.
They are down the right-hand side. Here come the Swiss on the attack again. A ball into the penalty area. Almost broke nicely for Vidmar. He actually had 3 assists during the World Cup in Qatar. And there's the first yellow card of the game, just 4 minutes in. And it's gone to Sylvain Vidmar, the right wing back for Switzerland. And it was for a challenge that was crunching in that time on Kerkez. Well, it's a referee showing no nonsense here.
It's a ridiculous challenge. He's coming from behind. There's no way he's going to win the ball. It's down the Hungary end. OK, there's one thing to try and stop a potential counter-attack. There's another thing to come in completely from behind there. And you've put yourself under massive pressure. Not yet 5 minutes on the clock and you've got a yellow card.
Well, Vidmar's going to have to watch his luck, and he's going to be up against Szoboszlai at times on that far side. It could be an interesting matchup.
Well, it could be. And I mean, I suppose the good news in that sense is that as good a player as Szoboszlai is, he's not like a winger type that's going to try and take you on all the time. But I can tell you, Adam, from a fullback's point of view, it's the last thing you want, an early yellow card.
Wonderful to see the bouncing taking place from the Hungarian supporters away to our left-hand side in this stadium. The Swiss are defending the goal away to the right, where their packed-in fans are, all decked out in red. It's a wonderful sea of colour around this arena, not far from the Rhine, of course. Back inside their own half with Akanji for Switzerland in the centre circle. Another terrific season for him, where he almost got to the point where he couldn't be left out by Pep Guardiola in that Man City side. And maybe he wasn't first choice all the time, but Ruben Diaz and John Stones at times found themselves left out in the cold.
I think you're right. I think he almost did become first choice. And not just the fact that he's so athletic and quick and a good defender, but he's also good enough on the ball. He was able to be one of those to step into midfield. So perhaps John Stones wasn't needed as much.
Almost 6 minutes on the clock, 0-0. You're listening to Euro Game Day live on Talksport. Reminder coming up later after our Spain against Croatia. That's a 5 o'clock kickoff UK time. And then Italy against Albania. Both those games, of course, from the same group. Albania, you feel, may well be the whipping boys amongst Italy, Spain and Croatia, but you never know.
No, do you know what? They're a decent side. So when that draw came out, they must have been thinking, oh no, what on earth happened there?
It's similar, I think, to how Hungary felt back in Euro 2020, being drawn in that group with Portugal and France and Germany. But yet, 84 minutes they went in that opening game against Portugal before conceding. They were brilliant against France. One of the best atmospheres I've ever commentated in. And then to get the draw against Germany too.
And you were there at the games. They played really well and deserved better.
We're on the attack here down this left-hand side, and it's Schaefer who was very impressive for them during that tournament, out wide on that far touchline. Early ball played in this time by Kerkez, who is very much enjoying this wing-back role in this Hungarian side that he's been offered up by the 59-year-old Italian Marco Rossi. Not the best control on that far side, and it's conceded the throw to Switzerland.
Yeah, do you know what? Although he's only got one cap before, I can see why Quadro Diaz is actually playing. He's already caused the Hungarian defence problems with his pace and power, and it gives another option in terms of, yes, of course you want to be playing these little passes and little triangles and try and work the ball up very nice and neatly, but it gives the ability to go long if they want to and really put the Hungarian defence under black pressure.
The Swiss have very much had the better of the exchanges between these sides in recent times. They've won the last 3 meetings between them, and the man in charge, Murat Yakin, actually captained Switzerland to a 2-1 win back in 2002 against Hungary. That game played over in Limassol in Cyprus. He's had his moments in charge. His contract is up at the end of this campaign, so I think, depending on how well the Swiss do, we'll see whether he moves forward with a new contract. A few of the head coaches, of course, in similar positions at the end of these major tournaments. 8 minutes played. It's Hungary 0, Switzerland 0, and it's the Swiss who have possession down this left-hand side, as they probably have had for the majority of the opening exchanges of this game, as the attempted clearance on this near side from Fiola just ricochets into touch on this near touchline off of Ruben Vargas, and it will be a throw once more to Hungary midway inside their own half.
Yeah, Switzerland have edged it in terms of possession. They look dangerous at times, as I say, with Deer, but they haven't really tested Hungary in terms of shots on goal as yet. So I think that's the next stage for them. In terms of Hungary, I think Szoboszlai wants to try and get into the game at the moment. Not really seeing too much of the ball. He's got to come off that left and really try to make a difference. But at the moment, it's more Switzerland controlling the game.
Well, he went down very easily there after what he claimed was a little tug inside the centre circle from Remo Freuler, who then continued with the ball. Referee not interested. Remember, they'll be working to the kind of minimal rules around contact and maybe allowing a little more to go unless we get silly.
Good.
Sholoi does well.
Best way.
It is. Down the right-hand side. Now the break's on. Fiola. Attila Fiola towards the edge of the penalty area. Plenty of support here for Hungary. To the edge of the box, and the shot fizzes over the top of the crossbar. They've never really had that under control, Roland Sholoi, and he fires over on his 50th appearance.
Yeah, but it's a good attack, isn't it, on the counter. Wasn't a ball over the top in behind, but it was in between the left back and the left side centre half. And it didn't quite have the pace or the belief that he was able to do something with that, Viola, so he cuts inside, plays it to Sholoi. Well, he still did attempt and target, but just needed to try and make sure, have that composure at the last second, get on top of the ball, don't hit it over. You want to hit it as hard as possible. He didn't take control of the game, of the goal.
A couple of goals in qualifying for Sholoi, which have contributed to the 13 he'd scored prior to today. And as I say, his 50th cap for his country, a proud moment. And he really does offer something in the spine of this Hungarian side. It's strength certainly down the middle, and plenty of quality, particularly between the sticks as well, in Peter Galashki, who has been very impressive in the Bundesliga time and time again. Did have a nasty injury to his cruciate ligament, but back and fighting fit, as that one's picked up by Rodriguez inside the centre circle for Switzerland, who's short to a slightly darker tinge, more of a claret to go with that red shirt, and time on the ball for Granit Xhaka inside the centre circle. 126th cap for Granit Xhaka today in a Swiss shirt. Of course, Serdan Shaqiri, a familiar name, is amongst the substitutes, but he's been plying his trade in the MLS for the last couple of years, so there are certainly question marks about what kind of contribution he can make at this level, but this surely will be his last tournament, having achieved so much for the Swiss.
Yeah, but you know what, with someone like him, give me 10 minutes, give me 15 minutes of a game, change a game. If we're down, do something special. You don't have to have that physicality of being able to last the full 90 minutes. Just come on and make that impact, and he'll always be capable of that.
Akanji looking for some more movement ahead of him as he holds that up on halfway, goes to Rodriguez, and Akanji will have it back just inside the Hungarian half as the drum beats, trying to drive this Swiss side forward to, on that right hand side, Vidmar out wide to that far touchline where he's picked out, I think, Abasher, who was there, but back in field again with Akanji, edge of the centre circle. Now looking maybe to shift it to the left, but instead they go more central to Abasher. Here's a chance and a goal! And Switzerland have the lead, but the offside flag, has it gone up on that far side? I think it has. Well, that must have been quite tight. The finish was excellent from Kwadwo Dia, but you just had a thought for a moment, was he in an offside position?
This must be very tight, because I thought initially he was onside. Great play, you have to say. He looks on to me.
He is onside. This is surely going to count. The assistant on that far side, his flag went up immediately as he put it in the back of the net, but he looks to be being played onside quite clearly. There will be a moment here. This is surely going to be a goal for Switzerland and a first international goal for Kwadwo Dia, because there is undoubtedly, from what we've seen, he's in an onside position.
It's a goal.
It's terrible officiating.
It's not good, I have to say. Look, I certainly couldn't do it, and it's really difficult to be playing at such speed and get it right, but quite clearly that's going to be overturned.
And it has been overturned, and it's not taken long because it was incredibly obvious, and he runs away to celebrate like he should have done in the first place. His first competitive start for Kwadwo Dia, and he's on target for the Swiss, who have the opening goal of the game in Cologne. Hungary undone. The line they tried to play wasn't a line, it was jagged across, and boy did he take advantage with a very smart finish beyond Gulaci. Hungary 0, Switzerland 1.
It's just really good play down the middle, and it's why a lot of teams try and pack the central midfield and just say, OK, go wide. Akanji's got the ball and he plays it into Abashir. First of all, there's no one on him. He's able to turn and then play that ball just in behind. The pass itself was perfect. The weight of pass was brilliant, but it's also the movement from Dia. And then, of course, you have to have that composure first time to stick it in the back of the net. You know you've only got one chance at it. You know you can't afford to take a touch, because the second one, either the defender will catch up or the goalkeeper will come out. And it was an absolutely perfect goal from a Swiss point of view.
Well, he only made his debut against Estonia on the 4th of June as a substitute. His second cap, and it's his first goal for Switzerland at the age of 27. As we mentioned earlier, born in London, he's made his way to Ludogorets, and now he's making his mark at Euro 2024.
It's a shame he can't play for England, come off the bench, finishing like that.
I think there's too many people a little bit sore about Musiala after last night.
Yes, absolutely. Who actually played for England, the 21s. No, but look, that's a really well-worked goal, and you have to say, Switzerland have started well. They've been more in control in terms of possession. They look a little bit... You know, we talked about occasion yesterday, didn't we? That Germany embraced it. We wondered how nervous they'll be, and Scotland kind of shrank with it. But it looks like at the moment Switzerland are absolutely embracing it themselves. I think possession-wise they've looked good, but just two really good bits of passing.
And it is just that kind of error right there that VAR was introduced for, wasn't it? It took no time at all. I mean, how the assistant has called that as offside in the first place, I do not know.
I'm loath to have a go at officials too much, because...
I'm not.
I know the pace of the game nowadays, but I do think at this level that should have been seen pretty clearly. And look, if you want to be really negative, it took away, because he put his flag up straight away, the initial burst of celebration and joy of scoring. But I have to say, I think Dia certainly made up for it when the goal was allowed and ran towards the bench, and they all celebrated together.
It's a brilliant start for Switzerland on the attack again, and it's that man Dia once more, but just gives possession away as he tried to hold that up towards the edge of the penalty area.
And you can talk about levels of technology, and you can have the argument there, but that's why certain technology needs to be in the game, because that was a really good goal, fully deserved, and it was overturned correctly.
Down this left-hand side, I think it's a bit of a problem here for Roland Choloy. I think his arm's being strapped up after an earlier tackle. He will come back onto the field in a moment or two, but for now, Hungary are playing with 10, and they try and slip in down this near side once more. A bit of running forward by Ruben Vargas that time, and it's gone out of play. And again, taking advantage of Hungary being short of bodies at this moment in time. And it's been a really good start from the Swiss.
It's been a really good start. You know, I, along with quite a few others, kind of fancied Hungary to be quite strong in this group, and obviously there's still a lot of this game to go, as well as two other matches off the back of this. But Switzerland look like they're more comfortable in this type of atmosphere, don't they? These big pressure games. They're the one playing their game. Hungary haven't really got started yet.
It's the first time they've qualified for 6 international tournaments in a row, Switzerland, and boy does it show. Corner down the left-hand side, Rodriguez, and it's powerfully headed away from inside the penalty area. And a really good header on that occasion from Barnabas Varga, who's not really touched the ball yet in the opening exchanges here. 17 minutes played, Euro Game Day Live on Talksport, where it's Hungary 0, Switzerland 1. Rodriguez down this left-hand side. just for a moment that silenced the Hungarian supporters who were behind the goal at which Quadro Diaz scored. But they are starting to spring back into life right now. On halfway, here's Akanji. On his right foot, got support out on that right-hand touchline. Coming forward alongside him is Fabian Schär with the unaccustomed number of 22. Not used to seeing that, of course, in his black and white stripes for Newcastle. Here they come again down that far touchline. That's actually a really good tackle that time for Attila Saloy. And it will be a free kick for Hungary. 18 minutes played.
He needed to make it though, didn't he? Once you commit to that, if you miss, either the player's gone past you, or if you don't get the ball and you get the man, that's arguably a yellow card in itself. But it was a good, strong tackle. And look, in terms of controlling of the game, it's been the Swiss midfield that have been able to do that, and you need Dominic Szoboszlai, amongst others as well. They've got to think it's not just about him. Yes, of course, he's their captain, he's their star, but others need to step up and get hold of the ball as well.
Yeah, Dan Ndoye is the player that's causing those problems down that right-hand side. One of 3 Bologna players who are in the starting 11 for Switzerland today. There's 3 of them in the squad. They all start, and no surprise after the season Bologna have had qualifying for the Champions League in Italy. Of course, Zoma has to come out and collect that towards the edge of his penalty area.
Yeah, Bologna have been brilliant, haven't they? They've qualified for the Champions League, and Thiago Motta's gone on to become the Juventus manager now, which again shows the success that they've had. So I think there's no doubt about it, you carry that confidence on from your season into tournaments like this.
And actually the Swiss have been a little more attacking than we anticipated here. They've actually put Abasher on this left-hand side in the wing-back role, allowing the pace that is being shown at times by Dan Ndoye to trouble the Hungarians a little further forward.
Yeah, and he's playing that role really cleverly. Sometimes he's almost like a left-back because Rodriguez is playing in front of him. And yet other times, like the goal, he's finding himself almost in the number 10 position. So it's a very fluid system. It's very cleverly done. And at the moment, Hungary don't know how to get it close to him. On the ball now again.
Down that right-hand side, intervention though towards the edge of the penalty. Oh, that's not the best of back passes. A chance again, and a good save from the keeper Gulaschi, and he's managed to save that, palm it wide to deny Vargas. Hungary are all over the place at the back, and they almost got caught for a second time.
Well, if a second goal comes in, especially the way Hungary are playing, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to come back. And the way he pounced on that Vargas, you can see he's playing with a lot of confidence. He takes the touch. It's a really good save. It comes off the shoulder of Gulaschi. If it had been just a couple of centimetres wider, then it would have been 2-0.
Problems for Hungary to try and solve here. And they are far more attacking this Swiss side. I think the introduction of Giorgio Contini as the assistant in the spring really has made a difference in their forward play. The system has changed since then, of course, as the corner is going to be swung in again by Ruben Vargas, but the referee not happy with some of the pushing and shoving around the edge of the 6-yard box, primarily involving Manuel Akanji and Adam Long.
Yeah, and Granit Xhaka seems to be happy with his boss again now, doesn't he? I'm sure that the assistant coming in has helped a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's got the influence. 126 caps. If you complain, I think things tend to happen. A bit like you round here, Scott, you see.
I wish.
Here's the corner down this left-hand side to be delivered by Vargas. Plenty of pushing and shoving inside that penalty area towards the back post, and she comes out and has to palm it away. And on that far side, it's picked up by Freuler, who's got some company, but into Akanji in the box. Akanji trying to turn and twist. He's closed down by a couple, goes outside the penalty area instead. Very clever ball just to allow the Swiss to have a moment. And I think actually they're going to switch it infield. It's done delicately. The right-footed shot is blocked towards the edge of the penalty area. It was well driven in by Fabian Schär, who had a terrific goal-scoring season for Newcastle. But Hungary have done enough on this occasion. They just need a minute to regroup here as we approach the midway point of the first half.
Absolutely, over 20 minutes gone, and they've not had a shot on target, 1 goal attempt in total, but they're very much on the back foot. They're playing in their own half. They're not able to get hold of the ball, and even when they do, Switzerland are pressing really well. It's not quite the dominance of Germany against Scotland last night, but it's not a million miles off.
Here come the Swiss again, inside the centre circle. It's pushed out wide to that right-hand side by Xhaka. Here's Ndoye on the charge. He's got support in front of him, and also out wide to that right hand side from Vidmar. Infield again to Xhaka, just keeps possession and goes back towards halfway, where it's picked up by Fabian Schär. Akanji wants it, but there's all of a sudden a bit better and a slightly more organised higher press from Barnabas Varga, but they've still managed to smuggle through with the ball, have the Swiss. Down this left-hand side with Rodriguez on his left foot. Wants support, which comes in the form of Vargas to the left edge of the penalty area, right by the touchline on this near side. Jacques has come across as well, just to try and orchestrate a way through this slightly better organised Hungarian defence on that occasion. And the Swiss are forced back towards halfway, and then there's a bit of closing down of Granit Xhaka, which was a lot sharper than what Scotland managed on Tony Kroos last night, it's fair to say.
Yeah, but at the moment Switzerland are absolutely bossing this game, aren't they? Whether they're playing out from the back, whether it's in midfield, even if Hungary's on the ball, they're pressing them really well. They're in full control. They'll be absolutely delighted with how this first half has gone.
Euro Game Day Live on Talksport, the first of 3 live games for you today on Talksport. Don't forget Spain against Croatia coming up. That's a 5 o'clock kickoff UK time, and Italy against Albania underway at 8 o'clock UK time tonight. And don't forget as well, we've got boxing for you later. Billum Smith against Riakporhe, Selhurst Park. Live and exclusive radio commentary of that from 10 o'clock tonight. Once the football's done, the undercard, that's going to be live over on Talksport 2 throughout the evening if you wish to indulge in some boxing. Big fight tonight. Adam Cattrall will guide you through that one from 10 o'clock this evening here on Talksport. Plenty more football to come before that, though. We're only halfway through the first half of the opening game of day 2 of Euro 2024, the second game of the competition, and it's Hungary 0, Switzerland 1 as things stand. Forward they go towards the edge of the Swiss penalty area, should I say, but it's comfortably defended and just not been able to get their foot on the ball. And well, Szoboszlai, we haven't seen him in this game yet, have we?
No, we haven't. I don't think it suits him playing out on the left-hand side. As I say, he's not like a winger. He's a number 8 really. And it's all very well having lots of players in that midfield, but you need your main one in the centre of the game. As I say, we talk about the spine of the team. And look, you win the game in both boxes, but you control the game in midfield, and Szoboszlai is not able to get involved at all.
Abasher gives it to Xhaka, who swings it to the right hand side. Very clever ball from Granit Xhaka that we saw him doing time and time again throughout the season for Bayer Leverkusen. On that right hand side, it's picked up by Schär, who launches it forward, but misplaced pass from him straight into the arms of Galaci, away to our left hand side in the Hungarian goal. 20 minutes remaining in this first half on Talksport. Hungary 0, Switzerland 1. First goal of his international career for Quadrodia, who had a full start after he was flagged offside, but it became very clear very quickly that there was nothing wrong with his movement and his finish.
It was a perfectly timed run, wasn't it? With a perfectly weighted pass and a really good finish as well. And unless you are Hungarian, you kind of want to see goals like that.
Possession-wise, 2/3 of it with Switzerland as things stand. But here may be a moment for Hungary as they try and get themselves back on terms in this game. But again, the danger immediately snuffed out on this right-hand touchline, and it's Ricardo Rodriguez with all that experience that he has, the Torino centre-half, who can drive it forward. He can, of course, play it left-back as well, and has throughout his international career. Very comfortable in possession of the ball, as is Xhaka, the man who has it right now. Of course, he was a World Cup winner with the Swiss under-17 side back in 2009. In fact, a few of them he's probably going to outlast some of those who've already gone, the likes of Shaqiri, who will, we feel, maybe call time on his international career at the end of this tournament, depending on how far Switzerland go, of course. Down this near touchline, Hungary trying to break through again, but there's a foul and a free kick. I really have thought of a card maybe, but I think he'll resist on this occasion for Andras Schaefer, and it will be a free kick for Switzerland just inside the Hungarian half.
They're getting a run around at the moment, Hungary, but at least Schaefer's one of those players who's trying to get as close as possible. It's a foul. Maybe slightly fortunate he didn't get a yellow card, but again, sort of reference it to last night. Didn't see any Scottish players at all getting tight to the German players, and Xhaka's almost playing like Tony Kroos did in terms of 1-2 touch. You need, when things aren't going for you, you need to just rattle a few of the opposition players, make it think it's not going to be that easy. Be careful, make sure you know where the line is. I think Schaefer's the only one really that's trying to get tight to Switzerland, and at the moment they're just absolutely bossing this game.
You also get the feeling the Swiss are a bit streetwise as well, aren't they? I mean, that's the one thing that for me kind of stands out. They've only lost one of their last 10 games at Euro competitions. Yes, they've drawn 6 of those, but that was against Italy in the opening game of the last Euros. They lost it 3-0, and then obviously they lost out on a penalty shootout.
Yeah, and you can look at the sort of stats and think, hold on a minute, Hungary have only lost 1 in 18, and Switzerland finished second in their group, and a good few points off top as well. But when you come into the Euros or the World Cup, the step up mentally is such a big one that if you're not used to it, you can kind of get completely beaten up by it, really. So Switzerland, to me, look as if they're absolutely comfortable playing in this type of situation, in these type of games, whereas Hungary, they're not playing their A game at all.
Akanji just picking up possession again for Switzerland deep inside their own half. That slipped through the chase on his, and Doy got the pace to get there. He hasn't quite. It's cleared by Adam Long, and there's more pressure being applied on that left-hand side. But on this occasion, he's done very well to get clear as Kerr cares, but then gives the ball away on halfway. And forward come the Swiss again, and shares on a charge. One of those rampaging runs inside the penalty area. Gets it onto his left foot, gets the shot away. There's a appeal for a handball, waved away by Slavko Vincic. And it will be the Swiss who pick up possession again on this near side. It's almost relentless time after time here.
They're just giving the ball away, aren't they? Even when they got the chance of a counter-attack. Could see what Fiola was trying to do there, but if you're not sure that it's on, just run with it a little bit more. They've got to keep the ball first. Again, forget about even scoring right now. Just start to control the game. They're not able to get hold of the ball. Once you can control the game, then you can start to put Switzerland on the back foot and think about, okay, how can we actually pepper their goal? But at the moment, they're just very much on the back foot.
Well, as you and I were talking pre-game, the stats tell you that they've become much better at keeping the ball, Hungary, in recent times, particularly in their qualifying for this tournament. Their possession was up around the 60% mark compared to the kind of mid-40s during the last Euros and previous qualifying campaign for the World Cup. Now, VAR, I think, are having a conversation, but I doubt it's about that handball that was being claimed by Fabian Schär, because it was right into the chest that time of Willy Orban. First time we've really had to mention Orban in the game, because defensively he's not really helped out his Hungarian side to date, and he's usually so impactful in that back three. Here's the throw for Hungary inside the Swiss penalty area, and they're going to get themselves a corner for the first time then down this right hand side. It was a decent lob into the box that time from Adam Long, and it's headed away for a corner kick.
Well, first of all, just on that VAR check, I mean, it hit his chest, but even if it hit his arms were close to his body, so I'm not even sure why they needed to check that. But certainly, again, on this, you've got a corner, you're not playing well, set pieces come into play even more so make sure it's quality ball coming in.
Well, it's Szoboszlai who will deliver that quality ball, you hope, from this right-hand side from a Hungarian perspective. Way too much on it. It's kept alive, but then half-headed clear from the edge of the penalty area, and Hungary will try and mount an attack again. There's a appeal for a handball once more, or a foul, in fact, and it's given by the referee, and the Swiss will have a free kick midway inside their own half. We've just got the half-hour mark here, and it's Euro Game Day Live on Talksport, your home of the Euros, of course. 51 games. This is game 2. Every single one of them live across the Talksport network, and Switzerland have a single goal advantage. And Scott Minto's alongside me.
Yeah, we talk about, when you're not playing well, and therefore set piece is really important. So your captain steps up, and what does he do? He overhits it massively to the far post. I think that pretty much sums up Hungary's first half so far. It's half an hour down, not done well at all, but it's still only 1-0. They're very much in this game if they can start to get hold of the ball and get used to playing in what is Euro 2024. It looks like the occasion at the moment is just a little bit too much for them.
Ricardo Rodriguez has been penalised here for a foul on Szoboszlai. In fact, Szoboszlai the meat in a sandwich there between Rodriguez and Abasher. I think Rodriguez was just defending himself to the referee, saying that's my first foul, in case there was a a card that was pending. It does give a free kick in a decent position here, so again we'll be looking for some quality delivery. Probably about 15 yards inside the Swiss half.
That first one, that was back in my day. You were allowed one. You're not allowed one anymore. If it's a yellow card, it's a yellow card offence, whatever minute it is. But yeah, it was right. It was a foul. It wasn't worthy of a yellow card.
To be fair, Rodriguez was almost playing in your day, so maybe that's where he pulls it back from.
That's true.
He's on his 116th cap today, of course. And more words around a bit of jostling that's taking place, and Attila Fiola, who will always live long in my memory for his celebration after scoring against France 4 years ago, is the player that was involved. Szoboszlai has played that into the penalty area, comes out on that far side. Shaloi has it with that bandage on his arm. Right footed ball clipped towards the back post, and just too easy for Jan Sommer to come and collect in that Swiss goal. And he'll have a chance to bowl it out. But again, set-piece delivery from the star player, the man they call not quite the Hungarian Messi, but probably the Hungarian Gareth Bale. Just the delivery not good enough.
I mean, that would be putting pressure on you, wouldn't it? If you call that, maybe he is. But yeah, I mean, look, it was the ball that ended up going out wide, and the cross came in that wasn't from Szoboszlai. That was just too easy for Jan Sommer. Fair play to Vidmar, and he was getting tight, which meant that the cross wasn't coming with any quality. And I think that's what I'm impressed with Switzerland. Again, I'll just liken it to the only game we've seen so far, Germany. Not only are they good with the ball, they're very good without the ball at the moment, Switzerland. Not giving Hungary any time at all to look up and play quality passes in. And, you know, their front players have hardly got involved at all.
Reminder as well, England are in action tomorrow. It's the third kick-off tomorrow night. All the build-up right here on Talksport. Faye Carruthers is entrenched in that England camp. She even beat Jordan Pickford at darts yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah, I heard that as well.
I was impressed by the heckling that was coming from the likes of John Stones at the back of the room for Jordan Pickford.
I went to Flight Club a couple of weeks ago, actually. It's really good. I'm not taking Faye there.
I know, probably not a good idea, really, to get her involved now. She's, and I think actually the media are beating the players 3-0. It's been a fairly impressive performance, and Faye leading the charge yesterday. So we'll hear from Faye, I'm sure, later, because it's obviously match day -1 today for Gareth Southgate, who will be speaking ahead of tomorrow night's game that you'll hear live here on Talk Sport, of course. Jim Proudfoot, Stuart Pearce, Adrian Durham, and Ashley Young will bring you that game tomorrow evening. 34 minutes played here. Hungary 0, Switzerland 1. That's tomorrow. Plenty more live football for you today. And that one this afternoon, a real belter at 5 o'clock, Spain against Croatia. Looking forward to that. Croatia obviously always so impressive at these tournaments. And you just don't know this time what we're going to get from this Spanish side, so we'll see.
I think that group is really... You cannot call it.
Here come the Swiss again down this right-hand side. It's been the story of the opening 35 minutes here in Cologne as the sun peeps through what's been a fairly cloudy day. There's been plenty of rain around in Germany, as at home as well. As on that far side, the throw-in is conceded. This time it will go the Swiss' way. Level with a penalty spot as they continue to build the pressure.
Yeah, look, the last sort of 5, 7 or 8 minutes, I think Hungary have come back into the game. You know, if not actually creating proper chances, at least they've got into Switzerland's half. I think it's almost as if Switzerland have just taken a bit of a breather. Almost as if they're in a boxing match, they're 3 up, and I'll take a breather in this round. But they need to be careful. If they're too complacent, as I say, the score's only 1-0. They had that great chance for 2-0, of course, with Vargas. But I'm sure they'll get better in the second half, Hungary. 1-0 is a very difficult scoreline.
Caution does tend to be the Swiss way. Here's a Kanji, wide on the left-hand side to Mikel Abasher, who only started one in qualifying, so maybe a bit of a surprise to see him in the starting lineup. He anyway won a sub-appearance at the World Cup as well against Brazil. And he's got the nod today, and he's played his part so far, that's for sure. And Doyle on that right-hand side. Nice run being made into the centre there by Vargas, and he couldn't quite find him. And there's, again, faint appeals for a handball that's never going to be given, and just muscled out the way down that right-hand side. Vidmar lifts the ball inside the penalty area. Half-headed clear. Breaks towards the edge of the penalty area. Xhaka plays it out wide again to Sylvain Vidmar on that far touchline. Back to Granit Xhaka again, who just weighs up his options and then obviously goes for the simple pass to Vidmar on that far touchline. They combine so well. Now he tries to be a bit more intricate down that right-hand side where he finds Ndé inside the penalty area. Great run. Tries to cut the ball back towards Diop. And it's half cleared and out for a throw on that far side. Good defending again from Adam Long.
Yeah, brilliant pass, you have to say, playing short, and then the pass in behind for Xhaka, and they did really well. Great bit of skill on the byline. He cut the ball back. It wasn't quite the best of passes, you have to say, but as I say, Switzerland looked the most dangerous. Even though in the last 5-10 minutes, I think Hungary have had more of the ball, I think when Switzerland go forward, they look the most dangerous.
And this pace of Ndoye very much causing problems at times for this Hungarian backline. 7.5 minutes remaining in this first half. You're listening to Talksport. Hungary 0, Switzerland 1. And it's probably no great surprise that in the end Murat Yakin turned to Kwadwo Dia, because his attacking options have kind of been depleted. Mbolo, of course, has had problems. He's got a thigh injury now following a cruciate issue that he had. Dennis Zakari is another one who's not going to be fit to start with as well, and Zerdan Shaqiri's been out of the way for the last couple of years. So, I mean, it's bold to go for I would say a youngster. He is 27, but an untried player at this level, but seems to be paying off so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, maybe his hand was forced to a point, but still you're playing someone who's only won one cap before. It's a gamble, no matter what the talent. And yes, he may be 27, but he is experienced at this level. But I tell you what, it looks like he's loving it.
Here come Hungary. Maybe there's a chance here for a rare foray forward down that left-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area. The ball cut back as it's delivered in that time by Adam Neutsch, and it's out for a throw on the far side. I mean, when the initial ball was played, he looked to me a mile offside, but he wasn't. It was a perfectly timed run in the end.
It was, and the ball was just played behind him, and because it's the pitch is now dried out and the sun is shining, it just held up a bit. It's almost you need to put it another 5-10 yards in front for the player to run onto.
Nodge, of course, had a couple of years at Bristol City in the Championship. As this is a better moment of possession for Hungary. They're going to get a free kick here again. Another set piece, slightly more dangerous position, left-hand side in line with the edge of the penalty area, probably midway inside the Swiss half, and it's for the challenge on Attila Salai. So now is when you really want that quality delivery.
Absolutely. And Switzerland just need to be careful. As I say, they started off really well, absolutely bossed the game, scored the goal, could have made it 2. But just in the last 10 minutes, they've taken the foot off the gas, and there's been a lot of set pieces now. This is probably in the most dangerous position. And if it were to go in 1-1 Hungary at half-time, then they could believe they not just draw this game, but absolutely come away with all 3 points.
Well, they've scored in 15 of their last 16 games of Hungary. It was only against Montenegro back in June last year that they failed to score. Szoboszlai's there, headed down and into the arms of Zoma quite comfortably. Orban was the player who got his head to it and probably should have done a little better.
Well, one, he's got it on target, but 2, I think the ball wasn't played in with lots of pace. It was almost kind of dinked in. He might even have been offside. Well, we don't know about that, but yeah, as I say, 1, he's tried to get it on target, but 2, he would have had to have generated a lot of power. And in the end, a goalkeeper like Jan Sommer, well, you need to put it right in the corner to beat him.
5 minutes remaining in this first half. Hungary 0, Switzerland 1 in Cologne. Another foul at the edge of the penalty area. This time it goes the way of the Swiss, and it's at the edge of their own box, and the foul was by Andres Schäfer. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see some changes from Hungary at half-time, because it's just been quite lacklustre, hasn't it?
It hasn't been good, but what I would say is, again, the last 10 minutes, I think Switzerland have just eased off a little bit, and Hungary have come back into it without creating lots of chances. I think they'll go in at half-time thinking, come on, OK, it took us half an hour to get used to this game, but now we're coming back into it. Whether the manager will say, right, I'll give you another 15 minutes to really go out and do it, or I'll change things immediately, I just think they would have got a little bit of confidence from these last 10.
Here come the Swiss again, the probing ball that time from Scher in towards the edge of the penalty area, but easily snuffed out. And another foul for Hungary, midway inside their own half. The challenge from Granit Xhaka is the one that's penalised. 4 minutes to go to half-time. Quite intrigued to see Laszlo Kleinheiser at some point. He didn't feature at all in qualifying, but he played every game in Euro 2020, and in that game against France in particular, wow. I mean, what a performance that day when you were in amongst the likes of N'Golo Kante and all those. He was by far and away the best player on the pitch. But he's fallen out of favour since then, but he's in the squad, so maybe we'll see him at some point. Here's a chance maybe for Switzerland. Ruben Vargas on that right-hand side, charging forward towards the edge of that penalty area. The support comes from the area in front of him, who gets the cross away into the box, and well, it's a half-attempted header from Attila Fiola. He makes no contact, and it goes out of play, and the throw on this near side will go Switzerland's way.
He kind of panicked a bit there, didn't he? Fiola should have known, really. You've got to be looking around as a fullback before that cross comes in to see if anyone's around you, and it was a good ball, but there was no one around him, so he should have just been able to leave that, and therefore they would have won the throw-in. But the fact that he got that touch means that Switzerland get the ball back.
They do with Akanji, probing, forward it goes, and again, Quadro Dia is the player who just lets it run, but it's picked up at the back for Hungary quite comfortably, and Orban's going to have to clear under pressure, which he does from the edge of his own penalty area. But now they have got possession, but just a delay in the releasing of the pass that time by Varga, and it's picked up at the back once more for Hungary, and in the centre circle it'll be Adam Noj who will bring it forward. Gives it short to Sholoi, who again has probably been the quieter of the Hungarian forwards. Did have one shot, of course, but aside from that, a player who's often so influential, not really contributed to the opening exchanges. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, plus of course time to be added on. Switzerland lead by a goal to nil on Talksport. Forward again with Adam Notch, who's now midway inside the Swiss half, looks for the raking ball out to this right-hand touchline. That's better. Fiola's there, looks for support down the line. Fiola's continued his run, but the first touch that time was poor on this near side by Adam Long, and it's out for a throw to Switzerland.
Yeah, but again, at least they're getting a few passes going. And yes, it was a poor touch in the end, but that was because he was under pressure from Rodriguez, and they're not as good going forward, Switzerland, but they're still very good without the ball and not allowing Hungary to have any chance, especially in the final third. Again, it's so tight.
Sommer will clear from inside his own 6-yard area under a little bit of pressure up towards halfway. Good header won by Solai inside the centre circle. Away again, this time on this right hand side by Long. Picked up by Akanji, as he has so many times in this half, just very comfortable. And again, he's waiting for movement from those in front of him, but he just makes the simplest of passes forward. Now down the right hand side, cut back towards Dia by Ndoye, but it's comfortably cleared, but only as far as Cher, who gives it short to Xhaka. Vidmar on that right hand side. Ahead of him again is Ndoye, who turns towards the edge of the penalty area. Vidmar back to Xhaka, keeping the ball nicely. Last 30 seconds of this first half. Lovely pass inside the penalty area, but it picked out the run that had been made by Vargas, and now at the edge of the box they keep possession once more. Here's on the right foot the driven shot. Oh, what a goal that is from Mikel Aboucher. He's picked his spot into the bottom left-hand corner. Too much time, too much space, but executed brilliantly by Aboucher. And on the stroke of half-time, Switzerland have doubled their advantage. It's Hungary 0, Switzerland 2.
It's a massive goal, it really is. It goes from 1-0 to 2-0, and it's right on half-time. And Hungary is poor defending. It's really good play, you have to say, from Switzerland. They're able to keep the ball, and even when it looked like they weren't under full control of it, they didn't let Hungary get rid of it. They pressed them. They won the ball back, and then it comes to Aboucher, who's playing as a left wing back, but he's not a left wing back. Defensively, he's not really been asked questions, but what I think is really intelligent of him, he's not just staying wide, he's coming in like he did for the goal, for the assist, and there he's had the composure just to wait and see how it was going to go. He only waited a second or two. The movement took a couple of Hungary players to one side. He shuffled down the other. It's opened up the goal for him, and it's a wonderful strike into the bottom corner. 2-0, right on half-time. Uphill now for Hungary.
We've had a minute of 2 added at the end of this first half, and what a first half it's been. Crack out the Toblerones. The celebrations start now, don't they? 2-0 to Switzerland. A first international goal for Aboucher as well. 21st cap. Originally spent his youth at Young Boys. No surprise so many have. As Hungary look to respond and try and break down that left-hand side, and just moaning again from Sholoi, a little pull of the shirt that the referee not in the slightest bit interested in. But boy, are they going to have to regroup Marco Rossi's got his work cut out at half-time here.
Oh, he really has. There was a pull of the shirt. I think the referee had seen it, and the way that we've seen the replay, he perhaps would have given it, but I think that just goes to show how clever this Switzerland side are. Again, you talked about it. It's almost like they're used to being here. They're used to this type of game, used to this atmosphere. They've got the experience, especially at the back, which we talked about, and Fabian Schär certainly used it there.
Well, they tend to only serve the Kolsch beer in smaller measures in Cologne, and I think some of it went flying when that second goal went in for the Swiss, who have the lead at half-time, and it's 2 first goals for their 2 goal scorers. Quadro Dia on only his first start, putting them in front. Initially they thought he was offside, but it was overruled by VAR quite correctly. And then on the stroke of half-time, Mikel Abasher, again only 1 start in qualifying, but brought in as a masterstroke by Murat Yakin, and a wonderful goal from him to give the Swiss the advantage at half-time. Plenty for Marco Rossi to think about in his Hungarian side. But in Cologne, at half-time, it's Hungary 0, Switzerland 2.
Yeah, we'll give Adam a few seconds there to go and wet his whistle. Scott Minto remains with me. And Scott, if you're one of the myriad red-shirted Swiss fans in the stadium, that's great. For us football fans, not so much. Only one side in it, a very one-sided first half.
I think we've been here before, haven't we, in the last 24 hours, Danny?
Perhaps we have.
Yeah.
Exactly what was going through my mind, actually.
Yeah, I mean, not quite as one-sided, I have to say,
No.
but Hungary have really disappointed me today so far. You know, that first half an hour, it's almost like, you know, rabbit in headlights. And the way that Switzerland were bossing the game, forget the scoreline, they looked the team that looked most comfortable. They weren't allowing Hungary to even get into their own half, let alone to the final third and create some chances. But even when Hungary did get on the ball, the pressing of Switzerland, again, we've been here before, of one side pressing the other, and then that side just knocking it long and not giving any quality ball up to their strikers. And yet when they went forward themselves, Switzerland, you know, they knew when to play short, they knew when to play long, they knew when to, you know, the movement in behind as well. And the first goal, I'm really glad it was allowed. I mean, it correctly so, and it should have been allowed.
It was a yard onside.
Absolutely. But the way, you know, Akanji he was comfortable on the ball, and then he played through the midfield with that one pass. Abasher, who's playing supposedly as a left wing back, but being very intelligent coming in when he wants to, he was able to turn on the ball, and then the weight of his pass was perfect. And then the movement, you have to say, of Dia, and the finishing itself, it was just a really well-worked goal and fully deserved. And to be fair to Hungary, after half an hour, they kind of came back into the game without creating too many chances.
They had that header from Orban where he might have done better, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, the free kick, I don't think there was quite enough pace on it. It was a difficult, you know, header to create pace and accuracy as well. But Switzerland scoring that goal bang on half-time is going to make it very, very difficult for Hungary to come back now.
Yeah, if you'd said at the start of the tournament who would be the first London-born centre-forward to score in the Euros, I'd have said Harry Kane.
Very
but
good.
Of course, Dua is London-born, and well, but fair play to him. You know, getting into the national side, you know, past sort of mid-20s, that's a great performance. So is and Dyer's also giving them headache after headache. You mentioned the second goal, of course, is absolutely critical. What can Hungary do? Because whether Szoboszlai came off with a slight injury in the last warm-up game is not entirely fit. What the Swiss press is doing, Scott, is it's denying the Hungarian forwards any chance at all.
Absolutely, and you know, each individual player needs to step it up. You know, it's not just always about, the manager's got to make lots of changes, even though he does have to make some changes. I'll come on to that in a second. But, you know, each player needs to have a look at themselves and saying, this game's passing me by here, and I'm not doing what I know.
And you don't get as many chances in life,
No, you don't. And we talked about how important this game is. Where Scotland might get away with it because they're playing against arguably the top team, and probably is the top team, and it's the next two teams that they play that will define whether they qualify or not. These two are playing each other now, and whoever loses this game is very much on the back foot with Germany still to play. So they need to step it up. I do think the manager needs to make, you know, Adam made a reference to Klein Heisler and whether he will come on or not. I think changes need to happen now. If it had been 1-0 with them coming slightly back into the game, I wouldn't have been averse to, I'll give it another 10-15 minutes. You're used to this situation now. get into the game and be better in the second half. But now 2-0, they need that goal. I'm not saying they need it within the first 5 or 10 minutes, but they need to do something. They need to trouble Jan Sommer. They haven't even troubled him, let alone look likely to score.
Listen, thanks, Scott. You go away and have a nibble on Adam's Toblerone, and we'll be back to you in about 6 or 7 minutes' time here on Talksport, where, of course, the football keeps on coming, as I've told you already. We'll have both the commentaries from Group B later today. Spain is against Croatia, it's a 5 o'clock kickoff, and I'll be back at 7 o'clock for Italy against Albania, a game I'm looking forward to very much indeed. Then on Sunday, we've got the following three: a 2 o'clock kickoff here on Talksport, Poland against the Netherlands. That's followed by a 5 o'clock kickoff between Slovenia and Denmark. That's over on Talksport 2. And then the big one, I guess, for many of our listeners, 8 o'clock, Serbia against England. Huge game at the start of these Euros. And immediately after the game, instead of Trans Europe Express, there'll be a programme where you'll get your views on air about everything that's happened in that game between Serbia and England. Right, let's have a look at the latest odds with William Hill.
In the Zone on Talksport with William Hill. Prepare for greatness with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Now, obviously, that late goal in the first half by Mikel Aboucher has completely transformed the odds. If you think Hungary can come back and win, you'll get 40-1. The draw is still also an outside at 14-1. And Switzerland win, they're now 40-1 on. And score, and if you want to choose a score, imagine it's that Swiss get another one. They are 29-10 to win by 3-0. That was a look at the latest odds, thanks to William Hill. Terms and conditions apply. It's 18 plus and be gambleaware.org.
In the Zone on Talksport with William Hill. Prepare for greatness with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
You don't forget, in about 5 minutes' time, the Super League action starts over on Talksport 2. Hull FC against Leeds Rhinos. Big game. And as I say, that's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Up next, we'll be getting the latest from inside the no doubt crestfallen Scotland camp. You're listening to Euro Game Day Live here on Talksport, and the live commentary of the game between Hungary and Switzerland. Second half coming up in a few minutes' time.
Euro Game Day Live on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
I need to get snacks, I need to get drinks, should have done this beforehand. I need to get treats, gotta find a BP, gotta find a BP. Oh, my mates say won't like me, gotta find a... Oh, there it is.
BP is here for all your big game essentials. Plus, BP Me Rewards members can earn points to put towards great saves.
Adam in the car 1, Hungry Mates 0.
BP, here for all of life's journeys. BP Me Rewards card or app required. For full T's and C's, visit bpmerewards.co.uk.
Let's go live to hear about that winning goal.
The crowd's gone absolutely wild here. How on earth do you sum up your emotions right now?
Amazing. A hat-trick is just the best feeling ever.
Is it though? Is kicking a ball into the back of the net really better than food fulfillment from Burger King? That warm, fuzzy feeling of total food satisfaction, like finishing the last bite of a Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus.
No.
Correct. Burger King. That's food fulfillment.
Strength comes from confidence, both on and off the pitch. And confidence starts with self-care. Upgrade your game with Dove Men Plus Care Advanced 72-hour sweat protection antiperspirant deodorant and Dove Men Plus Care 24-hour nourishing body wash. Perfect for your post-match shower. Now available in new eucalyptus and mint long-lasting fresh fragrance. Let confidence last with Dove Men Plus Care. Proud partners of UEFA Euro 2024 Germany.
This tournament, prepare for greatness with William Hill. Get ready for last-minute winners, legendary goals, and straight red cards. Oh, what was he thinking? Win 50% more on every England game this tournament with Bet Builder Extra, online or in the app. Only from William Hill. Available day before match to kick-off. Bet Builders are 3+ selections at 3-1 or more. Pre-match singles, match stake £20. Full T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Get match ready with club card prices. Like 25% off 6 or more bottles of wine or fizz. With Tesco Club Card, everyone can feel to lower prices. Tesco, every little helps. 18 plus, drinkware.co.uk, majority of larger stores, and 17th of June excludes Scotland. Club Card or app required.
When Andre sold his car on finance with Motorway, he got more money. Ooh! He then put that extra money into tickets to follow his team around the country. Come on, lads! Selling on Motorway was completely stress-free, which is more than I can say about being a supporter of... Yes!
Sell your car the more money way, where 84% of sellers sold for more. Motorway. Validated against 2 independent sources. Visit motorway.co.uk/claim.
Here we are then, Jeff. Just minutes to go until the whistle. Will they make it?
Tense is an understatement, Jeff. There's so much riding on it. The question is, will they be able to find that extra gear when they need it most?
And here we go. Oh, yes, they've made it. That's why you drive a properly maintained vehicle.
Love to see that.
It's starting. Come on.
Make sure your journey to the match is a smooth one. Book a free vehicle safety check today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quickfit. Drive away happy every time.
Euro Game Day Live, delivered by Talksport with Burger King. Save big with the $4.99 King Box. It's the ultimate match day lineup, featuring a barbecue double melt burger, chili cheese bites, fries, and a drink.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave, on DAB, online, and on your smart speaker.
Official broadcast of UEFA Euro 2024, Germany.
Talksport.
Yeah, it's Hungary 0, Switzerland 2. Let's take a listen to all the halftime highlights with Carling.
Halftime highlights on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
The second match of Euro 2024, game 2 of 51, is about to get underway, and 2 of what are being described as the dark horses in this year's competition. Abasher, here's a chance and a goal. His first competitive start for Kwadwudia, and he's on target for the Swiss, who have the opening goal of the game in Cologne. Hungary undone. Here's on the right foot, the driven shot. Oh, what a goal that is from Mikel Abasher. He's picked his spot into the bottom left-hand corner. It's Hungary 0, Switzerland 2.
Yeah, those were your half-time highlights. Thanks to Carling. 18 plus course, and please drink responsibly.
Half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Yeah, so much live sport happening today. They're just getting going now again in the third round of the US Open there in America. Rupert Bell will keep you up to date here on Talksport. There'll be updates throughout the afternoon and evening as they get to the guts of the competition with those who have survived the cut. That's coming up here on Talksport as well. And now it's time to check in with Home Nations Camp with Carling.
Camp updates on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Yeah, we can hear now from Scotland midfielder Callum McGregor, who's been speaking this afternoon after that horrendous start last night against Germany. He says they were nowhere near the standard they have set themselves.
Probably take a couple of days to go over, but I think the disappointing aspect is the way it happens, the performance. They're a good side, they're a top team, they'll probably be in and around to be winners. So you have to respect the level that you're playing against, but I think the sorest thing is that when you go and open the tournament, everybody's got such high expectation, and we don't deliver as a group, so we have to take responsibility for that. We have to hold our hands up, and now we're the only people who can fix it, so we have 2 games to get ourselves through. I think if you're realistic and you look at the game last night, then they're on a different level to what we are, and it probably was never going to define where we finished in the group, but you have a sour taste in your mouth this morning because we don't do ourselves justice, and that's what you want to do when you come to tournaments like this. You want to do yourself justice, and I don't think we did that.
Yeah, a very honest assessment there from Callum McGregor. You'll get more updates from the England and Scotland camp as the afternoon continues. That was our Scotland camp update, all thanks to Carling. It's 18 plus, and please drink responsibly.
Camp updates on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Yeah, the players are back out on the pitch in Cologne. It looks like there will be changes for Hungary. Let's get back to our commentary team for the second half of this game between Hungary and Switzerland. That's Scott Minto, who's your expert summariser. The next voice you'll hear, match commentator Adam Bridge.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. Bendegus Bola looks like he's about to enter the fray as the change is made, and he's coming on for Adam Long. So I wonder if we'll see any kind of change in shape potentially here for this Hungarian side. We'll let Scott cast his eye over it and see if anything happens. He is an out-and-out right-back, so you feel that maybe they'll just settle into that position, or they could, in theory, go to a flat 4 and move Kerkez a little further forward. We'll keep an eye, but it looks like they're going to stay the same, and that it's a direct swap then. But we'll keep an eye and see how that develops, as the Swiss are about to get us underway at the start of this second half with a 2-goal advantage. A very impressive opening 45 minutes for Murat Yakin's side. Born in Basel, of course. He's had the job since August 2021. And it's a bit of a golden time for this Switzerland side, as we mentioned near the start of the show. They've reached the knockout stages of the last 5 major tournaments. We'll bring you through the 2 teams and how they line up at the start of this second half. But it does look at this moment in time as though we're sticking with a flat 3, but we shall see. And defensive bolsterings to replace Adam Long potentially. 40 seconds gone in the second half, and as for so much of the opening 45 minutes here on Talksport on Euro Game Day Live, Switzerland in possession towards the edge of their own penalty area. That's nodded forward into a slightly more advanced position that time by Kerkez, but now the defensive work is required, and it's carried out this time by Solai on this left-hand side of the back 3. It'll be a throw for Switzerland down this near touchline, which Vidmar, who was booked early on in the game, will take. He's midway inside the Hungarian half as he just looks for some slightly better options being offered up to him down this near touchline. In fact, a succession of red players almost running a circle before he decides that he's actually going to flick the ball on, and he does, and the chase on for Ndoye's done brilliantly, and he pulls it back for the shot from Dier that's blocked inside the penalty area. Again, it looked like there was no danger whatsoever until we saw the pace of Ndoye, and all of a sudden that Hungarian defence was creaking once more.
It's almost continuing, isn't it, after what happened in the first half, and just under pressure. I just think in terms of pace and power and enthusiasm, Switzerland are there. They're certainly used to playing. Again, we talk about you can't underestimate what it's like when you're playing for your country in your very first game in a major tournament. So important to be experienced.
There's the shot again coming in from Dier at the edge of the penalty area on his left foot. It lacked power, but it's still forced to save from Galaci down to his right-hand side.
Switzerland are the team that looking as if they want to put this game to bed. You're expecting Hungary to come out and really be a lot better, more positive in the second half, but no. It's the Swiss who are looking to say, no, we want to score that 3rd goal and really make sure we've got all 3 points.
Bendegus Boula, the player that's come on, has just gone onto right wing-back. That's all he's done. And they've just moved Fiola infield slightly as the corner comes in, and it's only half cleared. It nearly came to Xhaka, and then he's hacked clear by Szoboszlai around the penalty spot. And again, far from sure-footed defending from this Hungarian side. And the Swiss leading by 2-0 and in complete control here.
In absolute control. And I am surprised that's been the only substitution, because it's not been good enough from Hungary. They would have known that. You know, the 3 at the back isn't working. You've got to try something different. Again, we talked about Scotland. Steve Clarke have tried something different. Well, you know, you do feel that Marco Rossi should be trying something different. And 3 at the back, 5 at the back. No, it's just not been working.
Interesting about Bendegus Boula is that he's actually been a Wolves player since 2021. He's just never been seen anywhere around Molineux or the training ground whatsoever. He's been out on loan for all of that period. Here come Hungary. Maybe this is going to be a little bit better as the early left-footed ball is played in by Kerkez, but it's blocked at the edge of the penalty area. They do have possession this time, though, and holding the ball up is Orban, who's stepped forward, the back three a little further forward. Noit, who's really disappointing in the opening 45 minutes, and as we were rewatching some of the highlights on our monitors at half-time, it was fairly clear that his activity levels haven't been huge.
No, I mean, Switzerland for me dominated the game, and you dominate a game in midfield. I think Schaefer, at least he was trying to get close, and went close to getting a yellow card, but at least he was rattling a few, saying, I'm not going to let you have time on the ball. Whereas Nodge didn't really do anything, so I personally would have taken him off.
Schaefer gets it forward. Kerkez's cross is half blocked out, and Xhaka will pick up the loose ball at the edge of his own penalty area and goes back towards the danger zone. But such is the calmness of Granit Xhaka. And I have to say, he looks a different player since he's been working with Xabi Alonso. Rodriguez clips the ball forward to the edge of the penalty area, and Galachi comes out to collect. Do you agree that Xhaka looks a different player?
I think his last season at Arsenal, he was sensational. And who would have thought just a few seasons ago that Arsenal would massively miss Granit Xhaka? And I think in that sort of left side number 8, perhaps they did a little bit, which is why Declan Rice was able to then play into that position, play a little bit further forward. But under Xabi Alonso, as you say, I think he's absolutely dominating this role.
Brilliant down this left-hand side towards the edge of the penalty area. A chance for Hungary maybe. Szoboszlai at the edge of the box gets a shot away, but the offside flag was up. Roland Schuloy was the player that accepted it first, and I think he was the player that was in an offside position, but assistant on the far side was happy to let play go just in case.
Yeah, it was just offside. It was actually a really good first touch, and this is where you want Szoboszlai to pick up the ball on the edge of the box. It wasn't the best of shots, but just seeing him playing almost wide at times of a front three, that's not his position. He needs to come inside. He needs to know when to do that. But again, I would rather see him. We're talking about losing the midfield battle, which therefore you control the tempo of the game. I'd rather see him come inside.
5 minutes into the second half on Talksport. Euro Game Day live from either Spain against Croatia. That game coming up, 5 o'clock kickoff UK time, 8 o'clock tonight here on Talksport, Italy against Albania. And then we're off to Selhurst Park, not for football, but for boxing. Billum Smith against Riakporhe. It will be a belter, and it's live tonight from 10 o'clock on Talksport. All the build-up, the undercard, over on Talksport 2. Edge of his own penalty area. Granit Xhaka again, just so calm and collected when in possession for the Swiss. That was flicked on towards the edge of the penalty area again. It's half cleared. A bit better from Hungary at the start of this second half, but now a chance for the Swiss to attack. Down this right-hand side with Ndoye getting out wide to Vidmar. Vidmar will just check infield again. Nice ball. Clever. Picks out Xhaka. Just helps it on its way once more to Rodriguez, who's joined in. Now wide on that left-hand side. A chance for Abasher maybe to deliver. No, just gets it back. First Swiss player to assist and score in a Euros game is Abasher. They've never won a game by more than 2 goals in the Euros as well, the Swiss, so they'll be eyeing that one up, I'm sure, today. Now down this right-hand side in Ndoye, it's a good bit of defending this time round from Kerkez.
Just finishing on what you were saying about Granit Xhaka, though, I thought in his last season at Arsenal he was superb, but playing for Leverkusen and playing more in that sort of holding, just controlling it. If he needs to win the ball back, he can, but just doing the simple things well. He puts himself in really good positions where it always looks like he's got time, and that's what the top players do. So, and if he hasn't got time, he'll play one touch. If he has, then he'll look up. He'll normally just try and play the closest pass to him, but a couple of times as well he will look up and play the ball in behind. So he's become such an intelligent player, he really has. And yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think he was superb, as I say, by the end of his Arsenal career, but he's gone another level and beyond, playing for Leverkusen under Xabi Alonso.
Quickly run you through this Hungarian side. Galachi is the keeper, Salai, Orban, and now Fiolo are the centre halves. The wing-backs, Kerkez and Bula. As I'll break off for a moment because Rodriguez is on the attack here for Switzerland with Xhaka on that left-hand side. Gets it in once more where it's picked up by Abasher inside the penalty area. The shot coming in this time from Vargas, and it has to be well saved by Galachi.
And again, that man, the captain, the most capped player for his country, Granit Xhaka, involved, playing little 1-2 touch passes, plays it into Vargas, who does a good shot. It's a decent save in the end. Again, if anything, I'm going to say, where's the next goal going to come from? Really, we need to be saying it coming from Hungary, but no, it looks like it's going to come from Switzerland.
Finishing that Hungarian team, Nodge and Schaefer, the two in central midfield, then Szoboszlai, Varga and Szalai up front. It's Zoma who's in goal for Switzerland, Cher, Akanji and Rodriguez across the back. Abasher and Vidmar are the two wing-backs, with Freuler and Xhaka in midfield, and then Vargas, Dia and Ndoye, the furthest players forward for Switzerland. They have possession on that far touchline. 9 minutes into the second half. You're listening to Talksport. Hungary 0, Switzerland 2. This game, of course, in Scotland's group, so it has a huge bearing on the Tartan Army. These two are the next opponents of Scotland. It'll be the 23rd of June in Stuttgart that Hungary take on Scotland. And, of course, the 19th of June here in Cologne, that it will be Scotland against Switzerland. Both games you'll hear, of course, live on the Talksport network, as you will all 51 games at these Euros. Possession with Hungary again. Now, Szoboszlai down this left-hand side. Little turn of pace to get him forward. Over halfway, then checks in field, and he's being tracked all the time by Ndoye, who's done really well. And now a chance once more for Hungary to build from halfway. Wide on this left-hand side. Szalai cutting in field on his right foot. It's better. Szalai still going, gets fouled. That's going to be a free kick, and it's literally just off the angle of the penalty area on this left-hand side, 2 or 3 yards outside the penalty area, and a real chance here for Szoboszlai.
Yeah, I think Ndoye is slightly unlucky there, but he has gone in to the Hungarian, there's no doubt about it. And again, we talk about 2-0, 2-1 makes such a big difference. So what don't you do? You don't give away silly fouls on the edge of the box. And Hungary's best chance so far has come from this kind of in-swinging free kick, where we did feel that Willi Orban should have done a little bit better. It's a very similar position, and I do think Szoboszlai can actually put a bit more pace on this one as well.
Dan Ndoye's father was Senegalese, but qualified for Switzerland via his mother. Almost 11 minutes into the second half. Szoboszlai might fancy goal here. It's about 23, 24 yards out. He got himself a slightly better angle, because I'm not sure that's quite where the foul took place. There's two in the wall, 2 red shirts on this near side, those being Vargas and Ndoye. But the right foot of Szoboszlai and 5 white shirts all lurking in a line around the penalty spot on this left-hand side here for Hungary. Chance, Szoboszlai does whip it in, but not too much pace on it. It needed some help on its way, and I think it was either Orban or Szalai that got there, but it will be a corner down this left-hand side. Maybe a little more pace required that time from that ball in by Szoboszlai. Let's see what he can do with the corner. The efforts in the first half weren't the best. Goes short this time. Kerkez comes out to Szalai. Here he is again down this left-hand side. Szoboszlai, and he's just miscontrolled it. That's the story of his afternoon.
Oh, I think that sums up not just him, but Hungary so far. Got the chance to put the ball in. Again, maybe just that shows a little lack of confidence, the fact that you play a short corner. 2 or 3 passes, comes back out to him, and it had to be pinged into him. And fair play to Ruben Vargas, who tried to get tight, and he missed it, but because of that, Szoboszlai wasn't able to concentrate on the ball he should have done. Again, just shows they're a little bit off, Hungary.
Euro Game Day live on Talksport 2. And so far it's Switzerland's day. They lead by 2-0. And of course, we've got more live football to come, with Alex Crook and Alan Pardew talking you through Spain against Croatia. That's our 5 o'clock kickoff today. Oh, that's terrible from Hungary, given away immediately to the charging Ndoye down this right-hand side. Shoots and pops it over the bar. A few frustrated players in red shirts around him who feel they were in better positions maybe than taking a shot from the edge of the penalty area. But when you're gifted a ball like that, what else are you going to do?
Well, I'll tell you, Fiola, I haven't been overly impressed with him, I have to say, defensively. He looks not quite the athlete you'd want him to be, certainly not playing in that wing-back position. He's now playing as a right centre-half. He's trying to put a 50-yard cross-field pass as if he's Tony Kroos. Giving the ball away, I don't know, I don't blame Ndoye having a pop, because he's ran with the ball and he's got to pretty much the edge of the box without anyone engaging on him. Just got to have that composure, and if If you are going to go on and shoot and be slightly selfish, you need to hit the target, otherwise you know people will have a pop at you.
Kerkez, forward he goes. That's a clever bit of play on this side by Szoboszlai. There's going to be a second yellow card for the Swiss, and it's gone to Remo Freuler for that challenge on Szoboszlai. Oh, he's very late, yeah.
It's clever play from Szoboszlai. Again, you know, he's one of those players that really is number 8, but he's playing out wide, wanting to come inside. He's just dinked the ball down round 1. He's playing a 1-2, and Freuler's realised he's not going to get there, so he's pulled him down.
Freuler, one of those Bologna players who's had that successful season in Serie A. Szoboszlai, this time the delivery is much better. It has to be headed over by Kanji this time, and it will be another corner.
It was much better. It was to the far post.
Oh no, actually he's giving the offside flag, I think.
Yeah. But at least the ball in was better. You know, the players have to time their runs and look along the line, but if the ball in is not good, there's nothing you can do about that. It's got to be better. You're looking toward your captain. Yes, he's young, but he's your main man, and you want to star. He's done really well for Liverpool in his first season in the Premier League. And now you're looking to him when the chips are down. Not just him, of course, but what can he do? And set piece is so important when you're not playing well.
I did notice at half-time some of the Swiss fans indulging in a bratwurst or two, but did you know that in Switzerland it's considered sacrilege to put mustard on a bratwurst? None of them had mustard. They all just had the sausage.
Is that right?
Apparently so, yeah.
What did they go for then?
Nothing, just the sausage and the bun. Okay. That's it, end of story. In Switzerland you don't put mustard on your bratwurst. If you ever go to Switzerland...
I promise I won't put mustard on.
Yeah, don't put mustard on. They don't like it. They look very dry. I won't. The supporters that were munching at half time, it didn't look the most pleasant experience, but I think they had plenty of other things to keep them happy today, as opposed to worrying about mustard on their hot dogs, because they've got a 2-goal advantage while enjoying some of the fare on offer. I was listening in midweek to the first preview show with Adrian Durham and Jeff Stelling and co, where they were berating the delicacies of Germany. It's basically food-wise, if you're going to take in the local delicacies, it's not really up to much, I think was the general phrase.
Is that what they're saying?
They were, yeah.
We've got to be careful, people in glass houses, because I've heard people having a go at English food.
Well, there is that too. They're probably fussy eaters, aren't they? I suspect Adrian's just tucking into his ham and eggs, as he likes to do anyway. It's there's no doubt about it. You've got to go to Germany and have a bratwurst, haven't you?
Of course you have. The beer and a bratwurst.
I think the words from Adrian, well, I'm not having any of that sauerkraut stuff, but there we go. Oh, Rodriguez has gone down. Was he fouled in the process? Well, the referee says yes, actually. There was a foul in the end, but the shot had gone over. Rodriguez certainly isn't going to throw himself to the floor in that instance. It was almost the perfect moment. I think there was a potential for an offside there as well, as Barnabas Varga was running through. There is some contact in Rodriguez, but I mean, he put it over anyway.
No, exactly. And there's 2 chances or 2 opportunities to say that he's fouled or it shouldn't be allowed anyway. 1, the offside, 2, the foul itself. But stick the ball in the back of the net and then have a look around to see if it's allowed or not. And that's something he hasn't done. And again, that shows the lack of confidence. It just shows exactly where Hungary are right now. They don't really look like scoring. And even when they have an opportunity to score, whether it be allowed or not, they don't stick the ball in the back of the net. It's been really disappointing, I have to say, the first hour of this tournament for Hungary.
Now, a high boot is going to be penalised there from Dan and Doy. He was on Kerkez, and that will be a free kick for Hungary in the left-back position on this near side of the field as things stand. And, well, you'd feel there's going to have to be a moment or a change coming there. They are doing better, but again, clinically, in and around those dangerous areas, the final third, still not looking that brilliant. On the charge here to Szoboszlai, who's about 35 yards out from goal on his right foot, clips it to this left-hand side where he finds Shaloy, who gets it into the penalty area, and the header is put over the bar. Well, what a opportunity for Barnabas Varga. It's a wonderful delivery from Shaloy, and it's a free header, and he's put it wide.
Oh my goodness, and that would have been allowed. What a wonderful cross that is. And he's free. He's 8 yards out. He's actually connected really well, and you can see what he's trying to do, head it almost back where it came from, giving Sommer no chance whatsoever. But you have to hit the target there. Hit the target, Sommer's got no chance. You're back in the game.
Well, he's a player, of course, that had been scoring goals in qualifying, 4 goals in total, and he's his league record over the last couple of seasons. 20 goals this season, 24 last season. He got 6 in 8 internationally. You just don't expect him to miss opportunities like that.
The thing is, when you're 2-0 down, you're under pressure and you're not getting too many opportunities. When they do come, you have to be clinical. And as you rightly say, 6 goals in 11 caps, 4 in his last 4. He got 2 against Israel. The one person you'd probably want to be in that particular position, right in front of goal, unmarked, 8 yards out with a header, is Barnabas Varga.
Well, after we're done here, of course, we'll bring you Spain against Croatia. We're working Alex Cook quite hard today. Earlier on today, he was updating us on the latest transfer news. Of course, Talksport.com, you'll find his transfer notebook. The ownership of Everton, one of the things he was chatting about this morning, and the potential move of Jared Branthwaite as well, with Manchester United looking to sign him from Everton. All that is on Talksport.com. And don't forget to get following us on the social media as well for all of the other stuff you see from our travels around Germany. Some of it is quite fantastic, to be fair.
He also does the Euro podcast.
Anyone else on that we know?
I can't think. No. I might be on it tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay. It's just the two of you?
With Sam, of course. Actually, no, I don't think Crickie's there tomorrow. I think he's got some travelling to do. May be having Jim White.
Oh, well, there we go. If Jim's got plenty to say, I'm sure. Well, maybe little bit less after last night's game. Who knows? Imagine having to sit next to Simon Jordan after that.
I know.
Oh, blimey. They'll be back, of course, on Monday from 10.
He'll be glad that was a Friday night with a couple of days to digest before they get back on again.
All of the colour from Euro 2024 across the Talksport network. Szoboszlai out wide to the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Lovely ball, lovely header, and they're back in the game. And he makes no mistake this time. Barnabas Varga, right place, right time, edge of the 6-yard box. Szoboszlai gets his assist as well. And Hungary bring this place to life. The Cologne Stadium erupts. 65 on the clock. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2.
Much better, you have to say, in the second half, Hungary. And Switzerland, well, they've had a couple of chances to make it 3, but they just feel like they've taken the foot off the gas. There's no doubt about it. Hungary have stepped it up, and Szoboszlai on that left-hand side comes inside. No one stopping the cross, first and foremost. He's obviously going to come onto his right foot, and then at the far post, we talked about how clever it was to play Abashir out on the left-hand side. Well, defensively, it's not quite the best, and Varga comes in. It's such a delicious, inviting ball. But he just makes sure he gets there first, Varga. Summer feels he can't come out. And again, we talk about sometimes just hitting the target when you're that close. He makes sure he does that time, and that means they are very much back in the game.
Kleinheiser has arrived for Natch. And another change for Hungary. He'll just go into that midfield, will Kleinheiser, wearing the 15. And we're going to see a change as well here for the Swiss. And in fact, we're going to see a double change for the Swiss, it would appear. So, an instant reaction coming from Murat Yakin. Leonidas Sturgu is going to be one of those players who comes on, but they're going to have to wait a moment. And now it really is game on. A quarter of the game still to play. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2 on Talksport.
Yeah, well, it's a substitution I perhaps would have made at half-time, but at least he's come on now, Kleinheiser, and it's 2-1. Very much back in the game.
Amdoni, of course, from Burnley, is one of the players that's going to come onto the field of play, and he's going to replace Kwadwodia, who's had a terrific first international start. And then the other change is going to see Sylvain Widmer depart as well. And that, as I say, will bring the introduction of Leonidas Sturgu, who will just slot into that right-back position. And as mentioned up front, we will see Amdoni of Burnley, of course. Didn't finish the season in the best of 4. I think 1 goal in 15 Premier League games, and that was a penalty. But he was impressive during qualifying, and trying to get a shot away is Shaloi inside the penalty area again. And Hungary have got a renewed belief about them, and all of a sudden it's Switzerland who look all at 6s and 7s.
Absolutely. It's amazing the difference that a goal makes. And people say 2-0 is a difficult scoreline. Look, give me 2-0 any day of the week, I'll take that. But if you do concede that goal, then psychologically, not only does it give the impetus to the team that just scored, but you do start to get a little bit nervous. And if Switzerland don't come away with all 3 points in this game, they will be absolutely kicking themselves.
Well, as you said, I think 1-0 was a tricky scoreline, but 2-0 looks like it was slightly trickier for Switzerland, and it probably, if anything, it may have done Hungary a favour on the stroke of half-time, because there was this slight change in attitude at the start of the second half.
I think they've been a lot better. I think they have to step it up. Again, still, give me a goal more than anything else, and I'll take that, whether it be 1-0 and even more 2-0, but it's almost as if Hungary realised how poor they were, and they have to step it up. Again, I talked about from an individual basis, the manager can make changes. He can make, whether it's substitutions, whether it's different change of system. Sometimes the player just needs to look at himself and say, I need to do a lot better. I need to, both with and without the ball. Scotland weren't able to do that, although second half I think they were, although Germany maybe just stepped the foot off the gas themselves. But I do think in this second half Hungary have thought, we have to at least try. We can't go out losing this game 2 or even 3-0. It really is game on now.
Attila Szalai has gone into the book for a yellow card. Here's the resultant free kick, swung over towards the penalty spot by Ruben Vargas, taken down on that far touchline, and it's Ndoye who will just keep possession. He'll go back towards halfway. Ricardo Rodriguez is there. There's just not been as much control in the second half from the likes of Granit Xhaka, who we were purring about in that opening 45 minutes. He's not just seen as much of the ball. Akanji's not been on it as much, have they?
Yeah, I think in the start of the second half, you remember, maybe the first 5 minutes, Switzerland carried on how they were in the first half. They were very good, but psychologically, when you're 2-0 up, you're thinking, OK, we need to maybe just game management, hold it. And that means you're not quite at it in the way that you are at, say, 0-0 or even 1-0. Hungary are more desperate. You're trying to control the game and do that game management. It's not an easy thing to do to keep it going, but there's no doubt about it. Granit Xhaka's not been in control as he was before.
Ndoye down the left-hand side here has got support. Ndoye's inside the penalty area, shoots it deflected and behind for what will be a corner.
Well, what they can't afford to do, Hungary, now, is after you've got it back to 2-1, is concede and make it 3-1. I think psychologically that will be the massive blow that will see them off here. But good defending in the end. As he comes inside, he shouldn't be allowed inside by Fiola. He gets the help across, doesn't he?
Yeah, it struck Orban's hands, who has them well tucked and tied up behind his back for sure. Vargas trying to get the ball back from the Swiss supporters who are behind the goal. Some of them dressed as cows with their udders and their bells. I know. There's nothing like dressing up for a day out of the football.
I was expecting you to come like that.
Well, I just wonder what customs make of it when you land, or if you're in that outfit, I assume, anyway. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2. 18 and a half minutes to go. Swung to the edge of the 6-yard box, free header and down and wide. What an opportunity for Fabian Schär. And that would have put the game to bed, surely.
Yeah, another goal from Switzerland and it is all over. And I'll tell you what, that is a great opportunity. It's a good battle between him and Fiola does just enough. But Schär will be thinking to himself, again, I've got to get a cleaner connection on that.
Well, Galachi's getting nowhere near it, is he, in any way, shape or form?
No.
The Swiss are preparing yet another change. We'll give you details on that in a moment. This game absolutely sprung to life. 18 minutes remaining. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2. You're listening to Talksport. It's Euro Game Day Live. Nodded on this time down this left-hand side. Drilled across the edge of the 6-yard box brilliantly by Kerkez. And it has to be gathered by Zoma that time. Otherwise, that would have been 2-2.
And what a first-time ball that was. He's so unlucky. Sommer does so well because he pings it in across without even looking. It's a great strike, and Varga was there at the far post just waiting to tap it in.
I mean, based on some of his earlier misses, there's no guarantee he would have scored.
That's true.
However, the confidence of a goal already for Barnabas Varga may well have delivered the equaliser there. And Kerkez is now getting into those positions we weren't seeing him in the first half.
Yes, he is. And that's because the midfield of Hungary are now dominating the game more so than they were in the first half. Again, we talked about Granit Xhaka, how he was on top, bossing it like Toni Kroos was yesterday. Now, not so much. And because Hungary do have more possession, they're able to get their wider players involved a lot more.
Vargas is going off. Briel Mbulo is the player that is coming on, wearing the number 7 again. He's had injury problems with a thigh problem, having come back from a cruciate ligament problem. But Mbulo is on for the last 17 minutes of this game in place of Ruben Vargas. We will see what comes from here. An extra thing for Hungary to be worried about at the back. However, I'm more concerned at the moment with finding an equalising goal in what's been a much better kind of last 15 minutes or so for the Hungarians and for Marco Rossi's side. This time it's Rodriguez clipping it forward. First touches off the chest that time of Mbulo. No pressure from him on the ball as it goes all the way back to Galaci away to our right hand side. Hungary will build from the back this time. Much better possession in this second period. That ball's flicked on and picked up by Freuler on halfway. Freuler again. He'll get involved once more and he just touches it round to Rodriguez, who, while slipping over, clips the ball over the top and tries to encourage that chase from Mbulo, who almost got there in the end, but Ndoye will get it towards the edge of the penalty area. Mbulo's there again. Keeps the ball alive. Ndoye, edge of the box, edge of the D, trying to work it on his right foot. Mbulo's gone further forward. The chase is on inside the penalty area. There was a little flick that time infield by Andoni, and in the end Galaci has to gather, and there's quarter of an hour left here on Talksport and Marine, I think, for a barnstorming finish.
Absolutely, that's what we want, really, isn't it? Especially if you're a neutral, not quite sure what's going to happen. Switzerland in full control. Look like at half-time they go on and win this reasonably easily, or you're certainly waiting to see what kind of reaction Hungary can come with.
Here's a chance maybe for Mbulo. Goes down in the box as he just tried to slip away, but no appeals because there was nothing doing. I'm just wondering, if you're a neutral, does that make you a Switzerland fan in this?
Oh,
in
very
this
good,
instance?
very good. I like it.
Someone sent me a message earlier saying they were very fondue of someone's performance. I didn't use that one. I thought we'll move on from that.
And yet you somehow have slipped it in.
Well, you know, and in case people think it's too cheesy, I've given the credit to somebody else. So there you go. That's the way to do it, you see. Long ball forward here that's gathered by Sommer away to our left-hand side. Wonderful atmosphere inside the stadium.
Yeah.
43,000 packed in. There are a few empty seats, but I think that was purely with people queuing in terms of gathering up their refreshments. And I mean, the atmosphere in and around the cities across Germany, certainly in Munich with the Scots around, was quite spectacular. Kerkez coming forward here for Hungary, lifts the ball into the penalty area, headed away, and it comes out on this right-hand side to Fiola. And it's back in field. Here's Kleinheiser. What's he going to do? He's going to push it wide to that right-hand side. Chance may be to deliver a ball into the penalty area for Bowler, and he does, towards the back edge of the box. It's picked up once more, this time by Kerkez, who's manhandled to the ground, that time by Ndoye. And the free kick has gone Switzerland's way.
Well, I don't see how that's not a foul from Ndoye on Kerkez, not the other way round. He's kind of pushed him down, he's gone down. Kerkez has then kind of flicked his boot, but I felt that was initially a foul from Ndoye.
Well, he's certainly wandered away muttering that he's not very happy about it, I think would be the... I'm not a great lip reader of Hungarian, if I'm honest, but Kerkez doesn't look happy about it. There's another change coming for Hungary here, and I'm thinking of a second one as well. We are going to see Marton Dardoy, who's going to come into the fray, that's for sure. And that will depend on the referee allowing that substitution to take place fairly swiftly, should that end up happening. In the meantime, considering their options as they try and get themselves back on terms in this game. And there's no doubt that this second half from Hungary much, much better than the introduction, when it comes, of course, of the Martin Dardoy. Will be quite interesting to see how that pans out. Reminder, we've got Spain against Croatia coming for you at 5 o'clock UK time, Italy against Albania tonight, and don't forget England are in action tomorrow as well, and that will be huge tomorrow evening. And also Poland tomorrow, and Slovakia and Denmark too. Plenty of live football as we bring you every game across the Talksport network over the next few weeks from Germany. And more live sport tonight, remember, once we're finished at 10 o'clock with the boxing for you. Billum Smith against Reactport. That's live and exclusive from Selhurst Park, and we'll have that for you tonight from 10 o'clock.
I was actually invited to go to that fight.
Were you tempted?
Very tempted. Should be a really good one.
Yeah, no, it should be a really good fight tonight. We shall see what pans out in that instant, particularly with Willem Smith in the open air fights in the summer. Well, I would say summer, but we haven't really witnessed much summer in
not in England.
In England, that's for sure.
No, but Selhurst Park would be a great atmosphere.
Yeah, you would think so. Finally, they've got round to making the substitution here, and we have seen the introduction of Martin Dordoy, centre back. So Hungary again will make a little change of some description here. It's a double change as well. Kerkez, just as he was getting into the game, has been replaced too by Martin Adam, and on that right hand side Hungary have possession as we head towards the last 10.5 minutes of this game. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2. Wonderful atmosphere inside the stadium, but well, Hungary want to leave it smiling. They are at the very least going to try and drive an equaliser out of this game. Throw in on this near side. I think Fabian Schär is thinking he was fouled, or maybe there's a little bit of cramp there as well for the Newcastle centre half, and he is going to allow the physio to come on. It's, I think, an injury that he's caused himself just by the way he landed as he tried to take that ball with both feet off the ground.
Yeah, I think he's just almost, he's done the inside of his knee just as he's fallen down.
He's certainly in some discomfort. Having words with the referee Slavko Vincic. It's just a little bit of ice has done the job. I just think he landed awkwardly. It sometimes happens, doesn't it? You'll know far more than me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his touch wasn't the best, and then as he fell down, I think just the medial ligament on his left leg just kind of tweaked it a bit. Hopefully he'll be okay. It looks to be okay and ready to come on.
Well, there's a couple of changes from the Hungarian side. Martin Adam will go up top, and here he is with that bristling beard as he plays the ball in early, headed away. Only half-headed clear though from the edge of the 6-yard box by Rodriguez, and now an opportunity down this left-hand side again for Adam, and the dizzy work of Shaloy as he gets it towards the back post again, headed up in the air by Rodriguez again, and half-headed clear towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to work the shot, and it takes it down on his chest, and then eventually the clearance comes up towards halfway. But Galachi has come all the way out to gather that for Hungary, almost at the edge of the centre circle on that occasion. Shaloy, round the corner he plays it towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's comfortably cleared. And now a chance maybe for Switzerland to gather some possession, and here's an opportunity for Boulot, who has fought really hard to win that first time, and now he gets the support of Mendoy on this right hand side inside the centre circle again with Rodriguez. Best passage of play that Switzerland have had for a while here. 8 minutes remaining. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2. And again Rodriguez wide on that left hand side, happy to keep the ball for the Swiss, looking after it in the middle of the park. Once more with a Kanji, and those in red just keeping control of this game, and that's a lovely slip ball through inside the penalty area, the poke shot, and it took some really good defending, and it was clever. I think Ndoye suffering a little bit there with a bit of cramp as well as he stretched out to try and divert that goalwards. It was a delicious ball over the top though, but in the end it was very well defended too, because he did enough to put Ndoye off.
Yes, he did. It was a great ball. It was a decent first touch, but he still wasn't able to get over the top of it. Maybe just it was a little bit away, and I think it shows how tired he is. He was just stretching for it and got a little bit of cramp at the end.
Yeah, Dardoy have come on to do the defending and did it quite brilliantly. Shaloy on the charge here. Once more for Hungary, wide to that right-hand side. Can they try and make something happen in the dying embers of this game? 7 minutes remaining. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2. You're listening to Euro Game Day Live on Talksport. Akanji again. doing the hard work required. That's possibly one of the foulest throws I've ever seen.
I was just thinking that.
I didn't know you could just lob it down into the floor like that without even putting it over the top of your head, but the referee not interested. Dodoi coming forward here for Hungary. On halfway. Just taking his time. Shaloi wide on this left-hand side. Infield again. Can the Swiss hold on? Don't forget, Spain against Croatia coming up. There's our feast of football. If you are being forced to go to the shops and do shopping or take the kids to the park, whatever it is, then make sure you take Talksport and the Talksport app with you, because we will guide you through this tournament, whatever you are up to. Particularly if you have to work some of the days. I mean, imagine that. Absolutely. When the Euros are on, work. I've seen some very funny gifs and memes about the idea of men literally parking themselves for 3 matches, one after the other, a day, which I think is perfectly normal to me.
Yeah, you have to do what you have to do. Simple as that.
The Swiss fans are still in a glorious, rapturous mood, but then so are the Hungarians too, who are enjoying this second half far more than they did the first.
Take the dogs out for a walk for 2.5 hours.
Well, the only one that benefits from that is the dog, probably, I would feel. Inside the centre circle, opportunity now may be here for the Swiss to get forward again, and it's good play by Freuler, but again I think Ndoye really having problems with his cramp on this near side. He's gone down again, and I think we're going to see a substitution. In fact, we're going to see the final 2 substitutions coming from Switzerland, and it's no surprise that Ndoye will certainly be one of those. Vincent Sierro is going to be coming into the action, and we're also going to see Freuler depart and be replaced by Fabian Rieder. So a couple of changes then. As we thought, Rieder will come on, and Ndoye on this near side replaced by Vincent Sierro.
Yeah, I think it's again that sort of game management, isn't it? Any players that are looking tired, you want to change it. Ndoye for sure. He's getting cramped a couple of times going down.
We've got, just under 4.5 minutes plus added time to play. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2. And there's going to be a free kick, which is going to be delivered here from about 10 yards inside his own half by Szoboszlai, who, as we mentioned earlier, despite having that knock in that last warm-up game, has survived 86 minutes so far. He's been much better in the second half, to be fair. Nodded down at the edge of the penalty area. Again, Hungary unable to get a shot away, but the chance might come here on this left-hand side for Shaloi, who just waited a moment, allowed it to bounce. They'll get a throw instead on this near touchline. Taken short as they work it once more on this near side. Szoboszlai was there. Dodoi back out wide on this left-hand side for Dodoi again, lifting the ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Comes down, chance to get the shot away, but again it's really good defending from the Swiss as they manage to clear their lines from the edge of the penalty area, and now look to counter down that left-hand side, driving forward, and it's going to be an offside flag. Surely, no, it's been left to run, but I think the yellow card's already been given for a foul, and that will be a free kick a little further back for Switzerland. Well, just for a moment then you thought that Mbulo was going to be through, but the challenge on Manduni was penalised first, and Fiola going into the book as well. So they're collecting some yellow cards now, Hungary.
Yeah, I mean, if the referee had to let it go a little bit, then Mbulo would have been through, because he was running in from behind. But I think the whistle had already gone. Not the worst thing in the world for the Swiss, really. Just trying to run down the clock, of course.
Yeah, I think Murat Yakin is having that discussion with the fourth official right now, as if to say, why didn't you let play continue and book him later? 2.5 minutes plus added time to play. Hungary 1, Switzerland 2. Here is the free kick for Switzerland. Not committing too many bodies forward here, despite the fact this free kick is 10 to 15 yards inside the Hungary half. They will at this point take the victory, I'm sure, despite the fact that they've been much better in this second period. Hungary, they look like they're going to fall a little bit short here, but given the opportunities they've had, there's another foul on Xhaka this time, and that's courtesy of Andreas Schäfer.
No, to be fair, at least he's tried to get as close as possible. He's not had his best game, but when you're not playing particularly well and getting overrun, as I say, you make a few fouls, you make sure that you're not going to make it easy. In the second half, that's what they've done.
Yakin's rage has got him a yellow card there as well. His fury over the referee not allowing play to continue, and Switzerland have a corner down this right-hand side as we head towards the final minute. And at this point, those red shirts behind that goal are bouncing.
And they should take as long as they possibly are allowed to. Because look, you are 70 seconds away plus injury time from getting such an important win. It's not just 3 points in your first game, but it's also against the team that you would feel are going to be your biggest rivals for second spots.
Yeah, Vincent Sierra was the player who had the shot that was ricocheted out for this corner as it swung towards the near post, and Galaci makes a terrific stop. An excellent save at the near post. And he says to his defenders, get up, he's done the hard work there. That's a terrific save.
Well, it's a great ball in, and it's a great header as well.
It's a double save as well,
It is, yeah, because he's kicked it away. First of all, he's kept it out, strong left hand. And then before it's even touched the ground, he's reacted really quickly and kicked it off for a corner. But all the while this is happening, the ball's down the wrong end if you're Hungarian.
Left-footed swung towards the near post, comfortably cleared away this time by Szoboszlai. And it's going to bounce towards the corner flag, and Shaloi will take the throw deep inside his own territory. In fact, he's going to leave it. And it will be thrown forward as we enter the added time at the end of this game. And there's going to be 5 added minutes. We're not seeing the ridiculous times we saw with the World Cup, of course, in Qatar 2 years ago. Just the 5 this time.
Yeah, but there's enough time to create one good opportunity. Can they do it?
Down that right-hand side, here they come, swinging a first ball into the penalty area, but it's well blocked out as Bola tried to swing it in. Second attempt maybe, this time from a throw-in on that right-hand side. Half cleared. And they'll just work their way back towards half. Well, dispossessed. Now a chance maybe for Switzerland. Counters on here, there's 3 of them in the attack. Lovely ball slipped through towards the edge of the penalty area, goes round the keeper, cuts it too wide though as it's pulled back and cleared off the line. Well, that was terrific play, but again he just overran it, having rounded the keeper. The hard work had been done, and as the ball was pulled back, there was enough Hungarian bodies back to save the day.
No, absolutely, and he's so onside. But you have to say, to be fair to Galaci, he makes sure he goes so wide. By the time he takes his next touch, he's on the byline, just almost cutting the ball back.
It was what was required. Galaci is such an experienced goalkeeper, and he used all of that skill and guile on that occasion. But just for a moment there, that was game, set and match to Switzerland. It means there'll be another nerve-jangling 3.5 minutes here on Euro Game Day Live on Talksport. Here comes Akanji inside the centre circle. Clips the ball over the top. Now an opportunity, but that's well defended at the back once more. They'll have to clear at the second attempt here, which they do, down this near touchline, and Hungary could get it away once more. And they'll need to try and find a way through. Szoboszlai just with a neat little skills, but he had 3 red shirts around him. And in the end, the free kick is given, and it'll be taken by Szoboszlai. 3 minutes to go on this near touchline. Just inside his own half, he's going to deliver this.
Yeah, don't mess around with it. Just get it in there and see what happens when you're so close to the end of the game.
This one's with pace and fairly direct as well, just too much on it. It was being chased down quite vehemently that time by Martin Adam. 3 goals to his name in his 22 appearances before today.
He's a big guy, isn't he?
He is. He certainly gives him a slightly different option, the 29-year-old. He made his debut against Serbia in 2022. Now a chance maybe to wrap the game up for Switzerland, and they do. And it's done in style. And it's the return, as we thought it might, as their danger man. He's back from injury and he's back amongst the goals. Breel Embolo wins the game for Switzerland. They've never won a game in the Euros by 2 goals, but it looks like they're winning this one. Hungary fought hard, but in the end, Breel Embolo returns and he scores for Switzerland to secure the points with his 14th international goal. And with 2 minutes remaining, you don't get much more direct than this, really. It's Hungary 1, Switzerland 3.
Well, it goes to show you don't always have to score the perfect goal. And Jan Sommer just thinking, right, I just want the ball down the other end and we'll see what happens. He absolutely larrups it, he really does. It's poor defending in the end. It's just a simple header that goes to Mbolo. But what he does do, he takes it down first time on his chest, and then he has the composure to think it over Gulaci. It's a wonderful finish. I don't actually think it's a 3-1 game, but I also do think it'd be a travesty if Switzerland hadn't won this, how much in control they were in the first half. But that definitely has put the game to bed.
Yeah, it's unlike Willi Orban to make that kind of error. But Hungary, in the end, will lose out here, with Switzerland claiming the 3 points, and they'll move alongside Germany in Group A in pole position. And of course, next up for the Swiss is that game against Scotland here in Cologne on June the 19th. I'm just trying to work out which piece of his attire Mbolo has lost while he was scoring that. It looks like it's some kind of strapping on his thigh injury, potentially. And it's delayed the restart, so we're going to get more, I think, than the 5 minutes that were added on initially by Slavko Vincic, and he's saying another 2 more minutes.
It won't be enough, though. They haven't done enough, Hungary. They have stepped it up. They've been a lot better in the second half, but Switzerland have been the better side over the whole 90 minutes. And you get the feeling if Switzerland needed another, they have that firepower. They made all the substitutions, but still, the players that have come on look very dangerous.
It almost feels like the substitutions by both sides kind of killed the momentum that Hungary had built up at that point, and now they're going to try and break away again down this left-hand side, and here he goes once more. Mbolo, is he going to try and get the shot away? No, he squares this one across the edge of the 6-yard box, and it evades everybody, and it'll be held up on that far side right by the corner flag, and in fact it'll bounce off the corner flag and then go out of play for a throw to Switzerland 5 yards from the corner on that far side. And Granit Xhaka was the player, no surprise, who was furthest forward trying to get on the end of it.
Well, you know it's your day when you try to kick it against the defender, it hits the corner flag and then comes back off and off him again, and you're still able to get the throw in the corner.
Yeah, it certainly does. And well, some of the Swiss fans have decided that they don't need a shirt anymore. They're going to swing them in the air instead, as there's a little game of roly-poly by the corner flag on that far side, but it means Switzerland come out with the ball again towards the edge of the Hungarian penalty area. It's back with Akanji, who will just comfortably keep possession here. There's no need for them to rush. We've had 6 minutes in total. There were 5 originally, of course, being added, and now we're on to 7, it would appear, with a signal from the referee. Here they are again, though, down this right-hand side, looking to come forward with Sierro, and it switches out to this near touchline again. Throw there will be taken by Soboslai down this near side, and it's gathered up by Adam. Infield again to Schaefer. Schaefer just gives it short again to Soboslai on this left-hand side. Soboslai with the outside of his right boot just stabs the ball forward. Possession again midway inside the Swiss half, inside the centre circle. Once more, ball is picked up by Soboslai. Well, there's no urgency. They're 3-1 down, but certainly not driving themselves towards the Swiss goal, and no need anymore, because there is the final whistle. Our referee, Slavko Vincic from Slovenia, blows up, and Marco Rossi sits in his seat and swigs his water, because he's got plenty to think about the Hungarian boss, because Switzerland have made an excellent start to Euro 2024. They led by 2-0 at half-time, courtesy of Dia and Abasher. The comeback looked on for Hungary, with Barnabas Varga finally converting one of the many opportunities that came his way, as we saw Soboslai screech into the game. But in the end, it wasn't to be. A defensive header from Willi Orban, falling very nicely from Mbolo, who was able to finish and secure the points for Switzerland after 90 minutes. It is Toblerones all round tonight. You may want to try some of the fondue, whatever you fancy. They'll be yodeling in the Swiss Alps tonight. A victory to start Euro 2024 for Switzerland, who move level on points with Germany at the top of the table. Next up for them, it's Scotland, while Hungary will take on the Germans in Stuttgart. But full time in Cologne here, it's finished. Hungary 1, Switzerland 3.
Yes, thank you very much there to Adam Bridge, our commentator. Only my second favourite Adam of the afternoon, because Martin Adam, who came on as a sub for Hungary, what a monster. I mean, Grizzly Adams was more like it up front there for Hungary towards the end. And Scott Minto, a much better second half, much more competitive second half. Swaboszlai got into the game and all the rest of it. But a thoroughly deserved win, I think, over the pace for Switzerland.
Absolutely. Look, we expected a reaction, Danny, didn't we? And it was a really poor first half from Hungary, where myself and others included actually really fancied themselves. If someone was going to win this game, it would be Hungary. But I just felt that first half, again, as we saw last night, you really can lose it. And the fact that they went 2-0 up Switzerland, even though it went back to 2-1, you never really thought that Hungary were going to get back in the game. And Switzerland always had that danger, even making substitutions, that they could go on and get the third. As I say, there was a moment where you're thinking, OK, Hungary in this game, you're absolutely right, Szoboszlai was getting more and more involved. But still, I think it would have been a travesty if Switzerland hadn't won this game. They were the better side over the whole of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Scott, which means it's time now to take a look at the King performance, thanks to Burger King.
King Performance on Talksport with Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction with the Gourmet King's Barbecue Steakhouse Angus. Order your Burger King delivery now.
OK, Scott Minto, I'll put you on the spot. Well, who was your King performer in that game?
Well, I think the first half determined as to who was going to win, and you have to say Mikel Abashir with first of all the assist and then the goal itself right on half-time. I think you can't look further than him, so I'm going to give it to him. A very good performance.
Yeah, people like Ndoye were also in the running, I thought, because he ran them into places they didn't want to go, the Hungarian defenders. Is that fair?
No, absolutely. I thought he was really good. Obviously Diaz scoring the first goal as well. I just think, that sort of moments. I mean, there were 2 or 3 players that played really well. Granit Xhaka also bossed it, especially in that first half.
He's been my European Player of the Season. I thought those were words that would never leave my lips when he was in North London.
That must be hard for you.
It's heartbreaking, but he's been brilliant all season. There's no point in lying about the evidence of your own eyes, is there?
Absolutely. He's been brilliant for the last couple of seasons. But I just think if you're going to narrow it down to one, Abashir made the difference with the assist and then the goal itself.
Well, listen, thank you very much indeed. That was our King Performance pick in association with Burger King.